Welcome to your weekly La Jolla Detached Market Update with your La Jolla native realtor, artist, and daughter of an international architect, Tara Ravanbach with Craig Lotzof and Associates at Compass. So what I do here week by week is track the La Jolla Detached inventory so that we can study it together and we can see what's happening in the market. So this is our 10th week of tracking, and the date ranges that we're looking at this week are going to be from March 23rd until March 29th. So this last week we have had 7 price changes, 6 of which were reductions, and 1 of them was an increase, which that house is expired, and I checked as of this morning, it is still expired now. So we can jump into that one in a bit, but let's discuss the 6 price reductions first. So the price range reduction that we have for this last week is going to be as low as $995 on one house, which is roughly about 0.025%, up to $1,496,000, which is going to be up till about 11.1% reduction. So let's talk about the one house that did increase $100,000 at roughly 2.7% recently. So it's expired now. As of this morning, I double checked, it's still expired. And what this house has, it has a long history of price adjustments. And I won't state the address, but it is in the Meerlands in the 3 to 5 mil range. And over time, the adjustments are just up and down and within a small period of time. So it's looking very inconsistent, right? And when buyers see that, because the buyers, they do their homework, sure. When they see that, they automatically assume there must be something wrong with the house. Now, of course, that doesn't always mean there's something wrong with the house. And if your house is increasing out of nowhere, which I've seen it myself, yes, for no reason, it doesn't really make sense, because why would your house all of a sudden increase for no reason in a small amount of time when you didn't do any additions or anything like that? You didn't really change anything. And it's like within the same day, all of a sudden your house is going up $100,000. So, for example, with this house, they had small incremental price reductions, and then they would do some bigger ones like $100,000 reduction, and then all of a sudden they increase $100,000 like within just a few days, and then in buyers' eyes it looks like there's something really wrong with the house, whether it's the seller doing that or whatnot. But whenever there's a price adjustment, it's like almost like a mark, like there's a mark on the listing. And when we do these types of things, it should be more strategic, right? It should be like more like one and done or a few, but not doing these price adjustments so often, right? Because it does make it look like there's something wrong with the house. And what I want you guys to understand as buyers and sellers to hear this as well, is like, if the house has a history of price reductions, right, that does not mean there's something wrong with the house automatically. It does not. It's just the pricing strategy that was being used. So it's something to take into consideration, that when we are pricing homes, we need to do more strategic pricing reductions, or else you'll end up like this house where it's really struggling to sell. Honestly, this is the one house in La Jolla that's been struggling the most. Yes, it has. And unfortunately, this is where it is now. I really do hope the best for this house, but I just want you guys to know that, again, just because it has a price reduction history does not mean there's automatically something wrong with the house. It is the pricing strategy. But I haven't seen the inspection reports or anything on this house, so I can't say, but it's something to take note of. And as far as pendings go, if you recall, last week we stated that we were down in pendings week by week. We went from 10 to 6 to 3, and then now we're back up again, so we're at 6. And the homes that are getting picked up still, more often than not, they do not have a history of price reductions. And so this last week we have 4 of the homes that have no history of price reductions, and then 2 of them do. So again, with the buyers, just want to let you know again that if a home has a history of price reductions, that does not automatically mean there's something wrong with the house. So you can still give a chance to some of the other agents' listings who have listings that are sitting active on market, unless maybe it's not your architectural style or design. I encourage you to still maybe give them a chance, because also keep in mind, you are going to get the seller disclosures. You are going to do inspections, which do not waive your inspection. Even if there's multiple offers, I strongly advise against ever waiving your inspection, because what if you buy your house and then you figure out there's so much stuff wrong with it that you could have if you've just paid to have an inspection done, you could have avoided all of that, right? And then another thing to know is that when you have your seller disclosures, make sure you're not getting rid of or removing your inspection contingency until you see that, because sometimes in the seller disclosures there's something in there that would need to spark further investigation. So for example, a seller might state there that there was water damage and then they had remediation work done, and then so what we need to do is see a certificate of completion on that work, right? And then you would need to do further testing probably. Maybe you'll need to have someone come and do mold testing for you, test the air, test spores, all that, right? To ensure that you're free and clear. And then you should not be submitting your repair request until all of that's done and you've seen the seller disclosures with your own eyes, right? Not just heard, you need to see it in written form, okay? And then once you have that and you've done your inspections, then that's when you can get into negotiating the repair requests. Oh, and just a side note, you can also include your appraisal, of course, in the repair request. So you should probably wait till you have your appraisal in hand too, in case it comes in for way less, so that you can negotiate that with the seller. Because keep in mind, the repair request, it's like what you have, it's like a case. You have evidence, and you need to provide evidence to support your case of why the seller should agree to what you're asking, right? So I did want to highlight 2 homes that went pending as well. One of them has a history of price reductions and the other does not. So the one with the history of price reductions is in the Country Club, and it's a big home. It's a big Mediterranean Tuscan style home, very commonly seen in early 2000s architecturally, yes. And this house, it went off market in October 1st of last year. And then it came back on market February 12th with a price reduction of 0.06%, reduction of $5,000. And then it went pending March 24th. And it's still pending as of this morning, April 4th. So this house is in the 7 to 9 mil range, and $10.93 a square foot is what sparked an offer. And what it shows us is that maybe even a house, if it has a 0.06% reduction, it wasn't that significant of a reduction, although it has a history of price reductions, yes. But the fact that it came onto market after the holidays with that reduction, it went pending like that, and it's still pending as of right now. The home itself is over 7,000 square feet on nearly half of an acre, and it has ocean views, lush green grounds. It has a pool, it has a spa, high ceilings, walnut beams, walnut flooring. Really quite a beautiful home. Arched doorways. And then the next home I wanted to highlight that went pending is in the 7 to 9 mil range as well. So it sits on roughly a 0.31 acre lot in Lower Hermosa, right off of Camino de la Costa, so right off of the Street of Dreams. The fantastic location. And this house is a perfect fixer opportunity, tons of potential. It's like a 1950s time capsule. And so this house, it was listed on the 21st of March, and it went pending like a week later on the 28th, just like that, for list price. And the price per square footage that sparked an offer for them is $19.21 a square foot. And lastly, I have the updated price reduction chart for us. So week 10 is added here. We had 6 price reductions this last week with 1 increase, so the increase is not included here. So we have another 3 mil and under that reduced. 3 to 5 mil started back up again at 3. And also remember, 3 to 5 mil makes up the bulk of our inventory. And then we had 2 big homes reduced this last week. So we had one in the 11 to 13 mil reduce, and then another one in the 13 to 15 mil reduce. And again, I'm Tara Ravanbach with Craig Lotzof and Associates at Compass. If you ever have any questions or would like more insight on what's happening in the market, I'm always here for you. 858-414-6310. Thank you, and we'll see you next week.